Side of the news.
Good morning.
We on? We're on. Good morning. Christian, thanks for waiting. Sorry we're late. Maybe you can come in sometime and tell us how good communism is, why you like it so much. John, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's another great day to live in communist America. No, I'm just joking.
Almost,
almost, right? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of communism. Anyways, today it's a great day to be alive. I mean, I just saw the sun coming up over the mountains on the way here.
I'll bet people don't really know what today is. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Let's smile and make it a good day.
Yeah, is it half full or half empty?
Oh, I don't care. It's overflowing, I hope.
As my good friend Russ says, it could always be worse. And man, that guy's been through a lot. So when people cry about little stuff, but we've all got problems, and some people more than others. And
I've got my aches and pains, and then I'll look at somebody that's got some real aches and pains, and it makes you ashamed of yourself, feeling sorry for yourself.
I know therapy can be.
So,
hey.
Yeah, go. Okay, so I guess I didn't know if she's probably. Oh yeah, okay. So it looks like she's gonna pull that clip up.
We're getting ready for a clip.
Maybe mute it
Really
and then
scary. I was ready.
mute it. The volume on the video. You can hit the mute button. There you go. And then you can play it until that ad's over. All right. So I'm very, very excited about some of this stuff. I've been very pro-choice when it comes to what you put in your body as, whether it's vaccines or whatever. I don't think the government has any role. I think that the American people and people in the world, and nobody's been experimented on more than people in Africa, to be honest. They are the globalist guinea pigs, unfortunately, and they like to experiment on people in Africa more than anywhere else in the world.
Figure out which machete whacks off an arm easiest.
Yeah, exactly. Does the rusty one do it better, or the clean one, or
I've always been
laser?
pro-choice too, and I chose cores.
I like those the clay wires.
Yes.
Anyways, for amputations. I was joking though. Anyways, good old bone saw.
I don't know if you saw the look on his face. He might not think he's joking.
So, anyways, I think that politically, scientifically, all across the board, I think that people are starting to realize that we've been being scammed, and I think that this thing with the vaccines are definitely have been skewed towards making them look more effective than they've been, and then a lot of the side effects have been kind of swept under the rug. A lot of that stuff is kind of coming out now, but what I'm really, really excited, because every single state in the United States has some kind of vaccine mandates, whether it's for schools or nurses or you work at it doesn't matter. There's a lot. The military, obviously, that's a different level, so I guess this wouldn't affect that, but maybe the National Guard. I don't know what their requirements are, but every state in the United States has some kind of vaccine mandate for people, especially the schools. The kids get all kinds of jabs by the time they make it into high school. They've had a bunch of jabs. Most states, and all states have vaccine mandates. Well, Florida looks like they might be the first one to ban all vaccine mandates. And Joseph Ladapo, he came out speaking out against the COVID-19 vaccines, and I believe he referred to them as could be a bioweapon. I should have done that research this morning. I'm pretty darn sure, my memory's pretty good, that but he did come out and talk very negatively against any mandates for the COVID vaccines. But now they're talking about banning all vaccine. I'm going to let him talk. I'm going to be quiet and go ahead and play this clip. I love this guy.
They're not banning them, they're giving you the choice.
Yeah, banning the mandates.
That's it. I had an argument with somebody yesterday. Oh, they're going to ban vaccines. I said, no, they're giving you the choice whether you want them or not.
I don't know what's going on we're okay. Anyways, I'll just paraphrase what he was talking about. If we can get we're not sure what's going on behind the scenes here with the video. Oh, it looks like. Okay, don't worry about it. If it's not working, then we'll just...
She has fun pushing that little arrow. I think she's got some Indian in her. Let's shoot him.
So he says it's your God-given right to make a choice. And he goes, if you want to get a vaccine, God bless you, and hopefully you make an informed decision. And if you don't want to get one, God bless you, and hopefully you make an informed decision. Let's just not worry about it. We don't need to get on. You know what I mean? It's okay. We'll just do the show without it. Unless Nick's got some clips he needs to rely on.
we can go up to my
Nick
clips.
does have a couple, so I need to fix the audio.
So take your time. We're just fine. We can find something to talk about. One of the vaccines that just I find so questionable is the hepatitis B vaccine to newborns. I think they required it within about 3 days of being born. Hepatitis B. It's only transmitted through sex and intravenous drug use. Why would you mandate that for an infant?
Yeah, I mean, once you start getting into what they use in the ingredients, and we're not going to get into that because it's pretty wild, and the biggest argument is usually people go, well, polio would have never gotten eradicated without vaccines, and
You'll never convince me. Some of the people I see walking on the streets, it's been eradicated.
Right? I know.
Hey, I had a gal ask me. I was telling her about these guys that they'll be 30 foot from a crosswalk, and they'll walk out in traffic and have to stop traffic for them. Have you seen that? It is so frustrating. And I said, they made it legal to jaywalk.
Yeah.
Well, what do we got crosswalks for then? I think we ought to just start painting the crosswalks black and forget we ever had them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some of these people, I don't know what to say. There is some good people, though, man. There's definitely some good people out there that are, I've actually had experiences where I've had more street-type people help me out when I needed help. When rich people were driving by in their Mercedes, they would never stop to help anybody. But there's a lot of scumbags out there. I mean, these guys that are whacked out on fentanyl and stuff, man.
Well, I worked in logging all my life, and for the most part, they all did a conscientious job. But it just took one bad one to make everybody look bad. Mm-hmm. And you can see that driving up and down the I-5 corridor. Here's a piece of property up there. Looks like it's been clear cut when it was supposed to be selective cut. Selective cuts where you just take the trees, say over 24 inches breast high diameter, and you try and save all the rest. And you get a sloppy logger in there, and he knocks everything over, and it just looks like hell. But I will say this, the logging practices have looked so much better in the last 40 years. I can't believe the good job they do. It looks like they took a vacuum in some of these places, and you don't see skinned up trees all over.
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. It does look a lot better than when I was a kid. I remember, in the 80s. I don't know what timeline you're talking about, but.
Well, I was working in the 80s, and I got a book. I forget the name of it. It's pictures of old time logging. And boy, I'll tell you what, that I don't see how they weren't ashamed of themselves. Some of the logging practices they had. They'd skid logs and trees right down the middle of a creek because they could pull more that way.
I had a job.
It's just about as bad as that hydraulic mining. How could you, in a good, conscious, moral place, think hydraulic mining is okay?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, but I'd imagine it's creating a whole lot of sludge and messing up the ecosystem.
Have you ever seen it over there on the other side of Waverville?
Is that what they're doing?
Well, that's what they did 100 years ago.
Because I was driving from Trinity back over, it was about a few weeks, 3-4 weeks ago, and I saw the river, and it just all of a sudden it was just muddy and murky and like really, really bad. And I didn't know what they were doing. They had some kind of construction project is what it looked like to me.
Oh, probably so.
It looked like government people down there. And I was like, wow,
Well, they can do that stuff.
I know. And it was like miles of just muddy river. And they had excavators down there. And I'm not sure what they were doing. They were probably trying to fix the environment while they were messing it up at the same time.
No, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, they would take and tap in and have culverts come down miles, and they'd feather it down and down and down, and they had these big guns like a pressure washer only, it might be 15 foot long and the nozzle might be 6 inches in diameter, if not a little bit more. And they just wash the side of the mountain out.
Oh, wow.
I,
Oh,
yeah.
6 inches, a 6-inch pipe. That's a lot of water.
Well, yeah, and especially if you've got a lot of pressure behind it.
Yeah, that's probably thousands of gallons a minute, I would imagine.
Oh, I
mean,
don't doubt it.
Yeah, that's wild.
Well, us Europeans are pretty hard on the resources.
Yeah, it's hard to find this balance between nature and man,
Anyway, 2 or 3 episodes ago, I mentioned about the cannibalism in Ukraine, I think it is, about 1918, and I had a couple skeptical looks. So I found it in the book. In fact, I had bookmarked it because I ran across a few people didn't believe me.
Yeah.
The name of the book is The Gulag Archipelago, and it's written by Stolenensin. Alexander Stolenensin, and let's see, I think the copyright's about 1970. And he was in the gulags in Russia. And he described the gulags and what you had to do to get thrown in the gulag, which wasn't much, just irritate somebody and they point a finger at you and you got 5 years hard labor at a minimum. So I'm going to read this. There's 2 paragraphs. And in 1918, when political victory seemed to have been attained faster and more easily than had been expected, they had pressed right on to confiscate church property. However, this leap had aroused too fierce a wave of popular indignation. In the heat of the Civil War, it was not very intelligent to create, in addition, an internal front against the believers, and it proved necessary to postpone, for the time being, the dialogue between the communists and the Christians. At the end of the Civil War, as its natural consequence, an unprecedented famine developed in the Volga area. They give it only 2 lines in the official histories because it doesn't add a very ornamental touch to the wreaths of the victors in that war. But the famine existed nonetheless, to the point of cannibalism, to the point at which parents ate their own children. Such a famine as even Russia had never known, even in the time of the Troubles in the early 17th century. Boy, I'll tell you, you've got to be pretty hungry to eat your own kid. But this is in 1918 in the Volga, which I think is part of the Ukraine, because I had read about it in another book that the Russians came and took every ounce of grain out of the Ukraine to send to the front of the war, World War I, to support the troops, to where they didn't leave anything for anybody else to eat. So we were talking about cannibalism. Now I'm reading a book now, Empire of the Rising Sun. And it is about the Indian Wars in Texas, the Comanches in particular, from about 1760 to about 1860. And boy, you talk about a bloody group, the Comanches. And they were just beating up everything. And the only thing that got them, the only reason we, the Europeans, started gaining on them was because of the 6-shooter, the pistol. Before that, they had muzzle-loading flintlocks.
Yeah.
They'd get off their horses and get one shot, and they'd have to reload. Well, the Indians were on Mustangs, and their lances were 14 foot long, and they had bows, and they would hang under their horse's neck, and they'd have 20 arrows there, and they were like rapid fire.
Yeah.
And they were beating up on the cavalry and anybody else that took them on. It was 1850 to 60 before we started winning that war. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought I'd just mention it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I've seen in a couple old movies where they bust out like the Gatling gun. You know, the one where they hand crank it and stuff like that. It's just like, what are those Gatling guns? Just like, weapons can change the battlefield quite a bit.
I used to do the windows for a guy up on Bocelli Lane, up on the bluffs, all those really nice houses up there, and he was a gun collector. And he had an original Gatling gun there, and had the sleeves that held the bullets, too.
What was it, a hand crank one?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yes. And yeah, he had numerous weapons. And it was pretty interesting. He had a cannon sitting in his front porch. That was about a 65 millimeter.
Have you ever seen a cannon shoot in person?
No, I haven't.
They're really freaking cool. I have. I was just watching, but my friends were just shooting bowling balls is what they were using. I don't know.
Homemade cannon?
No, it was a real cannon. The bowling balls just happened to fit. I don't know what millimeter that is or whatever, but it's, I don't know a lot about cannons, but they are, I mean, these things have power. I mean, they'll mow trees down and stuff. I mean, it's pretty wild.
Oh, sure. And they filled the cannonballs with gunpowder and nails and stuff like that they'd explode when they hit.
Yeah, old school grenade.
That was cutting edge technology in its time.
Well, I mean, you think about it, and what's worse than getting killed in battle is getting
maimed.
Yeah, because then you got to be taken care of and stuff now. So that's
back then they didn't have any pain relievers. They just
it's cut your leg off.
Bite on this piece of wood. We're gonna whack your leg off. I remember when I had my knee replaced. I was out, but I could feel them cutting a bone.
Oh.
Well, I couldn't feel it, but I could feel the vibrations, and I knew what they were doing.
Yeah, how about when they just bone saw your leg off?
Oh, geez.
I mean, you might have some opiates or some whiskey or something, but man.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, those Comanches, they did a lot of torture.
Yeah.
And some really bad stuff.
You ever have a doctor say, okay, from 1 to 10, what's the pain level? Or I don't know if you've ever had anybody say, if you've ever had someone ask you what's your pain level. And it's kind of hard to say because what I thought was a 10, when I broke both my legs and my back, it actually didn't hurt that bad. I went without medication and stuff, and my right leg was shattered in 16 pieces. But then when they put it all back together and slid all the metal in there and the screws and stuff, after that, then I knew.
After the pain reliever wore off, it hurts.
I was like, man, my 10 before was like a 3.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But I can only imagine, like I said.
I'll tell you what will compare to it.
My 10 is still wimpy, though, compared to, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'll tell you what will compare to the worst pain I've ever had. Gout. Gout is something you'd wish on somebody that you can't kill that you'd like to.
Wow.
It's about as miserable as it gets. It usually settles in your big toe. And when it's peeking out, you can't even put a sheet over it. I mean, it's tender stuff.
I've heard infrared therapy works pretty good on that. I had a friend doing that.
Well, I was mad enough. I was looking at my toe with red eyes. It didn't work. That infrared didn't work for me. Profanity helped a little bit. You know, a lot of people don't realize that profanity is a good stress reliever. And if you're really angry at somebody, you can use hand signals with it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I know a couple of those. I know very limited sign language.
Hey, Leslie, are we doing any good on those clips that I've got? If we are, let's play the first one. And if we aren't, well, the heck with them. We did the best we could with what we had to work with.
To be a contract city because we can't handle our own business. We have a sheriff that's doing a pretty darn good job. Maybe he can take over. So I think that you guys need to start listening to the public, answering to the public. I have a lot more that I wanted to talk to you about, but this is the biggest issue. They answer to you. You answer to us.
So there you have it. Leslie couldn't find my clip, so she played her own.
Hold on, Zachary. Let me just make it perfectly clear to everybody in this room.
That's the time frame
I trust our staff. I trust Barry. I trust Steve. I trust Christian. Our staff in the back. I've met with Mr. Tippin probably 300 times in the last 3 years. He's a great man. He does a great job. And I appreciate our staff very much.
Nick,
Well.
you said 30-32.
30-23 to 32-40 is the first clip. But that's okay because we were going to play that one anyway. On my chart here, it says that one is 47-47 to 48-11. And that's Jack Munns, our mayor, and he trusts all those people. And you see our city's going to hell. I think maybe he's misplacing his trust. That would be my opinion. But it is, and Leslie did a wonderful job up there talking to him and telling him what happened to the cow when it got in a cabbage patch. But, you know, I have found that trustworthiness isn't something that you should maybe instill. You shouldn't believe a lot of what politicians tell you anymore. There's very few honest politicians. There's always something behind it. You know, when I first started paying attention to local politics is when Mike Warren was in office. Mm-hmm. And I thought you could trust him. Boy, was I mistaken.
To be able to keep an upkeep.
I met him. I was skateboarding as like a 14-year-old kid in front of the city hall down there.
Yeah.
And I was grinding on it. And he came out, and instead of like, he was actually pretty cool to me, but he was like, hey, we're going to build a skate park. He's like, you want to be a part of that? I was like, I thought that was kind of, I was not really political at 14 years old, but he was talking about building the skate park.
Well, you know, they did build a skate park, and it fills a very good void. And a lot of good things came along when Mike Warren was there, but there were some bad things that came along too. And Leslie's got me there. We're going to start with me talking right there. Go ahead and play that clip, and I'm going to give you my opinion. And when I'm done, just stop it, and then we'll go right to Robert. We'll talk about the things I have to say, and we'll go right to Robert there, Leslie. Okay, let's play that clip. You're going to hear one of the most intelligent people in the city of Reading right now.
I've got a copy of the lease to Big League Dreams for our sports park here. And this is amendment number 2, sports park lease, replacement E. Tenant there hereby agrees to replace and repair damage to synthetic turf at the end of its useful life or if damaged. I don't understand why you didn't hold Big League Dreams' feet to the fire and make them replace that turf. Instead, it looks to me like you let them give their lease to a different entity that didn't have the resources to replace it, and they got out of it. I think Barry Tippin should have been on the ball about that and not let that happen. You know, I look at Big League Dreams, and I look at our city managers. When I started paying attention to local politics, Mike Warren was a city manager. And I watched him feather his nest down at Turtle Bay. He gave us Big League Dreams. It's been a complete failure. And now you're going to go in the construction business? They had the sex scandal. Warren gave McConnell 201 riverfront acres across from Turtle Bay for $1.2 million, with the agreement the money had to be spent on a walking bridge, which turns out to be the Sundial Bridge. And then I see what Barry's done. We'll skip Starman because I don't have time. He gave $20 million worth of raises in 21 and 23, and now they want a 1-cent tax. He BS'd us into thinking that it was an unsolicited offer for the Civic down there when everybody knows he was in on it. Now he wants a 1-cent tax. Shut down New Palm, which didn't need to be shut down, and it finally got open. So you create a problem, you get it open, I guess you're a hero. What I'd like to suggest is we get rid of city managers and go back and have a mayor do the city manager job. That's what a lot of city does. And we could have an election for the mayor every 2 years, and that way we could recycle them if we don't like them. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
Nice.
So,
I like that idea.
Yeah. Well,
I want to know what a sex sandal is, though.
yeah.
I'm just messing.
I didn't want to embarrass any of the kids there. I thought the grown-ups would get it. Oh, well, you know, not everything always comes out exactly the way you
No, you
meant it.
corrected yourself. I enjoyed that, though. I like to laugh.
So anyway, a lot of cities do have the mayor pretty much does the job that the city managers are doing. And we used to have a mayor a long time ago. In fact, Leonard Modi's father was a mayor. I forget his name. And then we went to a city manager, and then everything went to hell. Everybody got a whole bunch of money. I remember when Mike Warren came to town, that was right after he bankrupted Benicia. And he brought a whole bunch of his management up here to the city of Reading. I asked somebody that worked down there at the city hall and asked what difference they saw. And I said, well, we saw a whole bunch of management that we'd never seen before. So that inflated our CalPERS debt. And when it comes to Big League Dreams, there it was in black and white. Big League Dreams was supposed to replace that turf. They're threatening to close it down because the turf is dangerous when Big League Dreams should have replaced it. And maybe it wasn't all Barry, but I know that when they let Big League Dreams give their lease to another outfit.
Do you know who they gave the lease to?
Yeah, an entity Big League Dreams created.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what the name of it is.
Yeah.
Sports LT. Well, it wasn't that because Sports LTD is a class act.
No, it's okay, though. I get it.
Yeah, and so it was just a shell game.
Yeah.
Moving things around so they didn't have to fulfill their part of the contract.
Yeah.
And they probably had Reading bent over a barrel and a lot more money. Maybe it would have cost more money to sue them and make them keep their word than it was to just say, okay, get out of here. We don't need you anymore. But they could tell us that if that's the case. Are we waiting on a break? No, we got time. Let's finish Robert here. Robert's kind of comical. And he gets on him pretty good. And listen right at the end when he makes a comment about Jack Munns, our mayor. Go ahead, Robert.
Good evening. For the last few years, Shasta County has been involved in distraction, deconstruction, and conspiracy by inept ideologues bent on filling their ranks with their cronies and casting aside qualifications for obedience to the majority. I think the medical school supported by Councilman Danuka is another delusion of grandeur propped up by the board majority. I think this is something we really need to address from a cost viewpoint, but also from a viable and attractive place to live. From Dr. Short's opinion, I think we should focus on making our community an attractive place for people to live. We should support our healthcare systems, especially the public health system. Young doctors do not appreciate places that attack their public health agencies and medical services. Our political and non-political leaders should do everything they can to assist the healthcare community in its recruiting efforts. Now, concerning bread and circuses, giving $676,000 to a crony nonprofit is beyond shocking. That money could have bought a couple of canine units and officers to help with our public safety problem. It's easy to be generous with money that isn't your own and for which there are no consequences for poor stewardship, well, except at the ballot box. Let the civic stand or fall on its own merits, not on our dime. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Just get on with it.
Lastly, I was shocked and surprised to get the public announcement that Barry Tippin was appointing his successor. Do you guys have any sort of input into what goes on other than, waving and cutting ribbons? I mean, are you guys doing the work? And why is the assistant manager appointed without a public recruitment drive? Why are you so afraid to have transparency and have people who are qualified and not involved in the crony politics of Shasta County and Reading apply for this position? It's beyond amazing, except that you want to maybe avoid transparency and exposure. I don't know. Thanks.
Well, I say, Robert, you're not quite up to speed on all that's going on.
Well, educate me.
Well, there's a lot of research out there that we're doing it in public.
Yeah.
When you come up, we'd appreciate it if you come up with...
You're an intellectual giant. I know that.
Better.
So let me just clarify this.
That's plenty there. You're an intellectual giant. I'm aware of that. I thought that was hilarious. Well, the thing is, you've got Dr. Short. I went to school with him. I graduated from Enterprise High School with David Short. And I went to him when I was about 35, and I think it was strep throat, and I was really hurting, and it was going around. And I didn't have a doctor, so I made an appointment with him. And he gave me a prescription, and I got that prescription, and I ran into a nurse I knew, and I said, here's what he gave me. She says, this isn't going to help you a bit. And, that just kind of irritated the hell out of me because then I was paying my bill right out of my pocket. And, Dave, Short, we've had Shark, we've had Hempley, Randall Hempley, we've had all those doctors trying to attract doctors to our community. It's not working. The thing about it is a medical college will bring in so many satellite businesses. It'll boost our economy tremendously. We've tried to build our community to look more attractive. And, these doctors, their wives don't like Reading. And I don't know what we can do to make it more attractive to them. Maybe they like living down in the Bay Area where they have there's only 2 good restaurants in Reading, they say. And I've heard them say that. Of course, their limit for restaurants is probably quite a bit higher than mine. I like to keep it about $8 or $10 a meal.
There's a couple. I mean, there's some good restaurants, and I would love to. I'm very, very weird about what I eat. I eat everything, but it has to be non-GMO, pretty much organic, no pesticides, fresh. I only eat really wild game or meat without hormones and this and that, and the no seed oils, and I can go on and on and on. I'm really weird about what I eat. I'm weird about what I put in my body as far as water. I'm just very, very careful, so I don't eat out a whole lot because I eat everything, but it has to be a pure source. But
do you drink the city's water?
No.
Do you think there's fluoride in it?
There isn't fluoride.
Okay, I was just asking.
Yeah, no, there's not fluoride. There's chlorine. There's not chloramines. So they do put chlorine in it. But I did, through water electrolysis, when you separate the solids from the water molecules, it smells like sewer. I'm not sure what's in there. And I'm not saying they're putting that in there, but I can do that live on air. In fact, I have one in my truck, water electrolyzer. And we can, in fact, after the break, do you want to see what's in the city water?
Oh, we'll do it live. I've always been curious.
We'll do it live on air here, and so I did that. And but anyways, no, I drink water out of a spring. I shove a copper pipe up into it, and then I fill up glass jars. And then the water I drink usually doesn't ever touch plastic.
Is that spring in Shasta County?
Yes.
Have you got your permit? I've talked to people that have told me that they have had the water checked and there's fluoride in it. And I remember when it came to a public vote whether we wanted fluoride in our water or not, and the public voted against it. All the dentists were for it, but the public was against it. And I was told they snuck around and did it. But the fluoride that they put in is a byproduct from mining in Florida. At a phosphate mine.
Sodium fluorohexasilicate.
That's the big word I was looking for.
Yeah, so it's not sodium fluoride, which is what the ADA, American Dental Association, all the doctors that voted or endorsed that idea as fluoride being good, where we're talking about sodium fluoride. So what we get put in the water, as you were talking about, is not what people think it is.
So you, knowing quite a bit about fertilizers.
Yes.
In fact, you gave me that little black stuff that I put an ounce in a gallon of water.
Yeah.
To kickstart the soil. Boy, it worked.
Yeah, you can see results within a couple days. And
yes.
And the cool thing about that stuff, because it's organic and natural, and you can use synthetic type fertilizers that will make stuff, you'll kind of see it grow really fast, but it's not really super healthy, and it's robbing the soil of its nutrition versus adding to it. So year after year, when you use good quality inputs in your soil and you're not killing your microbes and all that, every year your soil gets better versus every year your soil getting worse.
Depleted.
Yes.
Well, here's my question now. I do a little gardening, nothing major, but I used, I've got well water. And it's pristine. It's really good stuff, except for my commercial out in the field. It's got sulfur in it, and that doesn't seem to hurt anything. But if you're gardening in the city of Reading and using city of Reading waters with chlorine in it, wouldn't that kill a lot of the good things in the soil?
The chlorine.
Yes.
It does to a certain extent. It's not as bad as some other things. It's definitely not good. And one way you can get around that is chlorine. Chloramines do not dissipate. Okay. Chlorines do dissipate. So if you have a way to fill water up in a barrel or a tank or something like that, let it sit for 24, 48 hours. And if you get that water moving or aerate it, or if you just have a pump and have it moving it around, the chlorine will dissipate faster, and you'll essentially have chlorine-free water.
Put it in a hot tub and have the neighbor kids come over and play in it, and they can pee in it, and you'll have fertilizer in it at the same time.
That's urea. Yeah, you got a little nitrogen deficiency, just pee on it.
There you go.
That's urea. And urea is sold, and it's not in my opinion, the best source of nitrogen, but it works good. I mean, it's a decent product. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I think when it's naturally derived. Anyways,
the computer's broke. We've got to take a break. We're going to fix it.
It's time for a break. I think she's going to play that clip I was trying to play earlier.
That sounds great.
I want you to did you see that on Joseph Liddell? Hey, I want you to listen to what he says. It's only like about 2 minutes in. Once you guys get gonna play it, okay, I'm gonna run down and grab that water electrolyzer.
Okay. Are we doing a break, Leslie? Okay.
The Florida Department of Health, in partnership with the governor, is going to be working to end all vaccine mandates in Florida law. All of them. All of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Yeah. Every last one of them. All of them. Every last one of them. Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery. Okay? Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body? Who am I to tell you what your child should put in your body? I don't have that right. Your body is a gift from God. What you put into your body is because of your relationship with your body and your God. I don't have that right. Government does not have that right. They want you to believe they have that right. And unfortunately, they've been successful. They've been successful. Pretty much every state has them. It's wrong. It's immoral. They do not have the right to tell you what you put in your body. They don't have the right to tell you what your kids have to put in your body. They do not have the right. Do not give it to them. Take it away from them. And we're going to be starting that here in Florida. And I love our lawmakers. Obviously, they make the machinery of our laws. Our governor reviews. We work in collaboration. He signs. I love our lawmakers. They're going to have to make decisions, right? That's the way that this becomes possible. So people are going to have to make a decision. People are going to have to choose a side. And I am telling you right now that the moral side it's so simple. No one has that right, guys. People have a right to make their own decisions, informed decisions. You want to put whatever different vaccines in your body, God bless you. I hope you make an informed decision. You don't want to put whatever vaccines in your body, God bless you. And I hope you make an informed decision. And that's how it should be. That is a moral, ethical universe, not this nonsense where people who don't know you are telling you what to put in your temple, the temple of your body. That is a gift from God. They don't have that right. One of the counter arguments you'll have, and I would even care more if it was actually sincere, is that, well, there are people who, they can't take a particular vaccine, or, whatever reason they're immunocompromised, and therefore everyone else has to do something because of that situation. And absolutely, right? I've got 3 kids. I'm a parent. My kids are a little older now. They're 6, 8, and 12. And I remember particularly when they were smaller, there's nothing like, your heart literally leaps out of your chest when you're worried about your kid's health, and then especially when they're smaller, but really any age. So I understand that, I get that. But that is also that's also part of the experience of life. And it is not right. There's no basis. There's no ethical basis for that to be used as a reason, really a force to take away your ability to choose what you put in your body and what you as a parent put in your child's body. That's your right. And it's not that the world is perfect. The world is imperfect. It's not that sometimes people will end up regretting the decision that they made, and we've seen a lot of that during the COVID-19 pandemic. How many people put that poison in their bodies with these mRNA COVID-19 vaccines and wish they could turn back the hands of time and undo that, right? So it's not to say that the world is perfect, but it is to say if we want to move toward a perfect world, a better world, you can't do it by enslaving people in terrible philosophies and taking away people's freedoms. That's not the path. That's not the path. We have to find alternative pathways, okay? So let me see, was there any other announcement I want to make? So here's what we can do in the Florida Department of Health. We actually have the ability to start that process with what government folks call rules. So the Florida Department of Health, we have some rules that we promulgated, not me, predecessors.
Not on yet. Now I'm on. Okay, I've got some things to say about this guy. I agree with everything he says, but the thing is, he's talking about functional parents. And I'll tell you what, there's some dysfunctional parents out there that need to have somebody tell them how to raise their kids because they don't have a clue. And, they just make poor decisions. Actually, the parents probably have less common sense than the kids. I've seen that before, too. And it's not uncommon. All this started with the welfare state, in my opinion, when people didn't have to work and be functional to feed themselves, to pay the rent, to get by. Now they can watch TV all day, maybe make a few more kids and get a little bit more money, and go get your shots. I wouldn't be surprised to see the government start rewarding people to get shots. Elizabeth Warren got awfully angry at Robert Kennedy Jr. Yesterday. And he mentioned something about he knew that she took $855,000 from Pharma. Boy, she just blew right over that. She didn't want to talk about that.
Well, her and the rest of the cabinet, that entire presentation he was doing, they were trying to shut him down. And he said, the fact is, people are dying, and we are the most unhealthy country in the world. So it looks like I need to start firing people because the CDC is not doing their job. And their heads were rolling, and they were so angry. You talked about having red light therapy come out of your eyes. Those people yesterday.
Oh, boy, and he's challenging them, and they want to get rid of him. I think he's been quite an asset. I read something else that I thought was pretty good. Did you want to go on about something else, Leslie? We're waiting for John to come in with his water demonstration. He's setting up the waterfall right now, and I think he's got to get the slide going. Anyway, here's a good one. Last month, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced that 1.6 million illegal migrants had already chosen to self-deport and have left the United States for the country of their choice. That's a ton of people that decided that they didn't want to be deported maybe to Uganda or El Salvador or Rwanda. And they were sending, where is it now? In the last press release, August 14th, about $63 billion had been sent in remittances from the U.S. to Mexico in the last 12 months. $63 billion. That's more than we pay out in foreign aid. And I don't know whether you can imagine it or not, but I can imagine that money, if it recirculates around the United States economy, would do a lot of good for us. Instead, it's deported down to Mexico. And I don't blame the Mexicans. You know, if I'm down there living in poverty and I can come up here and pick peaches and make enough money to send my folks a couple $100 a month or even more, I can't blame them. But, you know, if that money stays here in the United States, it's going to be a big help to us. And, you know, they could come up with that Brazos program to get people up here to pick peaches and stuff like that. Speaking of picking peaches, I don't know if many of you remember Juan Corona. I think he's still in prison. He was a migrant labor contractor, and he would get migrants to come out and pick crops, and he was the go-between. He carried their payroll and paid them and everything. And he got to where he would take them out and have them dig a hole, and he'd knock them in the head. Well, he's written a book, How to Raise Peaches on a Skeleton Crew. So anyway, well, you know, that joke came around. I think I was about 18 or 20 years old when that happened. A lot of people won't remember that. But it was pretty sick. Where are we going to now, Leslie? What do you got going on? Didn't you have something you wanted to say? Oh, there's our sponsors there. There's Taylor Motors. You know, Taylor Motors has been around forever. And in fact, I talked to Howard Taylor one time. His friend, what was his name? It's at the tip of my tongue, lived at the end of my road. Gave me his number, and I called up and talked to him about some dirty deed that the McConnell Foundation pulled on him. And he was a down-to-earth, really nice guy. And I've never heard anything bad said about Taylor Motors. It's been family-owned since 1968. And if you want to buy a vehicle, it wouldn't hurt to stop and talk to them on your travels looking for the vehicle of your choice because, like I say, they've got a good reputation. And then we've got Sierra HD. What are they? Where premium comfort meets rugged strength. The Denali Ultimate Trim offers full-grain leather massaging seats and real wood accents, luxury without compromise, engineered with class-leading torque and towing capability unmatched by competition. Oh, that's a vehicle they got. I thought maybe it was one of them vibrating chairs you sit in. Right now, drive home with a brand new 2025 Sierra HD with just 5.9% financing, locked in for a full 48 months. You know, if they're going to finance it for 48 months, they know it's well built because they're not going to finance it for 48 months if it's going to fall apart in 36 months. You should keep that in mind. That's 7 years of heavy-duty power with payments to fit your budget. Leslie's correcting me. I need some help sometime. I'm glad that she paid attention that day in school when they taught you to help the handicapped. Thank you, Leslie. So closing reminders, extra copy points, whether it's our cutting-edge EV selection or down-home, no-pressure experience, Taylor Motors is the place to buy your next vehicle. Visit Taylor Motors at the corner of Cypress and Churn Creek Road. They've got a really good body and fender shop there, too. I've got a little Nissan Frontier that my friend got, or my son got in a fender bender, and I took it over there, and I was happy with the work they did.
Yeah, Taylor Motors Collision Center, I think is the...
Probably so.
What they call it. Yeah.
At that time, it was right next door to the sales lot. I mean, it'd just well be the same building.
Yep.
And they had just opened up.
I'm going to click the button on this, and then we can keep on talking, but we'll wait. We got the tap water on this side and the spring water on this side. Depending on which way you're looking, it could be the left or right, depending on where
Which
you're
one's
at.
got the mosquito larvae swimming around in it?
Well, hopefully the spring water doesn't have any. You can see that the city water is a little more clear than the
I see that. Yes.
Yeah, that's because it's more filtered and stuff, and the spring water has pretty heavy minerals that I drink in, which I like. But it should be on. I believe it's on. Well, go ahead and either it starts.
Well, what is that?
It's a water electrolyzer.
Okay, and what's it do? Electrocutes the water?
Separates the water molecules from the solids, but I'm not sure. Well, the light's not coming on this one. This is a brand new one I had in my vehicle, so that might have been a waste of time. We'll see.
There was a guy up on Lake Boulevard, and he had a business that added a molecule to water, 2-hydrogen, H2O. And it added another molecule, and it was supposed to be super, super good for you. And it was real interesting. I got in a conversation with him, and he was in the portable toilet business before he got started with this, and he was doing really good with it. And it was 25 years ago I was talking to him. And he decided he wanted to go to Washington, D.C. and bid on some of these big contracts like Yellowstone Park and Yosemite. So he told me he went back there, and he'd talking to the congressman, and they would say something to the effect, well, yeah, we can probably do that. But, you know, my wife over there, she needs a job, and she makes $40,000 a year, and she only works about 6 hours a week. And he said he couldn't believe what a dirty, corrupt outfit that was. He bunched it and came home.
Wow.
You know, I hear horror stories like that from people about what happens when you try and deal with the government, crooked government.
Usually is.
Government's the solution to all governmental problems.
We need more government to watch the government.
Well, we need two branches of government.
That's
One
awesome.
branch breaks it, and the other branch fixes it. That's what we need. You know, I've come up with. I was thinking the other day. Can you define the American dream to me?
I think the American dream, I mean, I don't know what it is these days, but just having liberty is like number one. You know, freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, being able to own a piece of property. Be able to not work 80 hours a week, you know, be able to work hard, but then reap the benefit of that and be able to build something, whether it's a business or just live a humble, simple life on a ranch and raise your animals and fix your fence. And I think the ability to do what you want and be able to work hard and be able to achieve your goals through hard work.
John, that's the old definition. The American dream now is to get a government job.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, I mean, I
How
don't
much more simple can it be?
I don't know what the percentage of people that work for the government now versus used to, but it seems like there's more and more people working for the government and less people in the private sector.
Oh, absolutely. You know, Shasta County is the largest employer in Shasta County.
Wow.
About pretty close to 2,000 employees. Then the city of Redding, they've got to be a close second. I was thinking about Sierra Pacific. I thought, well, they've got to be bigger. And they probably are bigger, but, you know, when you get right down to it, most of them are subcontractors. All your loggers are subcontractors. All the tree planters are subcontractors. And probably the employees would be the truck drivers and the sawmill workers. But, yeah, that says something when the government's the largest employer and are the best paying employer.
Yeah.
I just think that.
Well, it depends. Some people are making $18 an hour. Some people are making $280 an hour.
And then you've got management.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think I think some people don't make enough and some people make way too much.
Well, you know, Barry Tippin, he was making, what was he making? This is just his salary was, I think it was $325,000, $30,000 a year, when the average salary in the city of Redding was $37,000 a year. And so he was making, what, 8 times? More than 8 times the average salary. And the average salary taxpayer, he's the guy that's paying the taxes, that's paying the bills. Actually, your government employees, they're not producing money. They're consuming money.
Yeah, and adding to the debt.
They're trying to say they pay taxes too, but
Why do you think the people that run the world want to soft kill people?
What is it when you soft kill somebody?
Well, like you put cancer viruses and things like that in certain things, or foods with poisons in them, and things that, like, a soft kill is something that takes a long time to kill somebody.
Okay.
Versus just like outright cutting their head off.
Well, that way they
something.
can milk the medical bills.
No, absolutely.
Keeps the economy going.
Yeah, well,
I've had people tell me if they cured cancer tomorrow, it'd put us in a recession. I say the same thing about beauty salons and nail places.
do you know how many more trillions of dollars in debt that just the United States would be in if people weren't dying at an average age of 68 or whatever it is, I don't know what the average age is, 72. I don't know.
Right
but
around there. Let's just say 70.
I got a grandma who's 103 now, which is freaking insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my grandma Gertrude, and she's awesome. But both of my dad and both of my granddads died at 72. And then I know a lot of people that are dying of heart attacks in their 50s and stuff. I don't know what the average age is, but my point is, if the age went up, if people started living longer, that they would, because think about all the Social Securities and the Medi-Cals and the benefits, all these different things. Think about how much more debt we would be in if people lived longer. The shorter people live, the less money that you get.
The life expectancy is actually going down.
I believe it. I mean, we have, even though supposedly technology gets better with everything, and we have the best medicine and Medicare medical technologies and medicines and all these things, but
that aren't good for you.
Yeah, but there's plenty of, these ads are insane. You go and you try to click on something on the internet, and then the pharmaceutical ad comes up, and it's crazy. I mean, they tell you, they give you something for anaphylactic shock, and they say a side effect is you might
quit
die.
breathing.
You might quit breathing, and it's like
if you quit breathing, quit taking it.
Liver disease. They're talking about you might have parasite infections. Your immune system might stop working.
Have you seen that commercial? They've got something that kills parasites, and they got worms coming out of the bottom of your feet.
Oh, really? Oh. I haven't seen that, but
well, it's.
Is it a natural one, or is it like one of the big pharma stuff?
Oh, I never clicked on it. It looks like Looney Tunes.
Was it on? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of goofy.
It's a drawing.
There's a lot of goofy freaking ads out there.
I wonder how many people.
But
hey, if it's for me, I'm not here.
It looks like we're out of time. But did you get to watch that?
Yes.
What did you think about that speech?
Well, I think it's great that they're not going to mandate vaccines, but I made the comment that some people need some help deciding what's best for their kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we done, Leslie? We're done. Thank you.